I've earned over $2 million freelancing, and I've also spent over $1 million hiring freelancers. And I can tell you that AI is disrupting everything, and these marketplaces are building it into their products. But are they doing the right thing with AI, or are they trying to replace freelancers with an AI chatbot? Let's dive in. But before we do, goLance is sponsoring this video, but they are not paying me to say anything inside of it. Pretty much every single freelance platform is bolting on AI into its product, but for opposite jobs in general. For example, Upwork, freelancers pay to apply. You pay 15 cents per connect, and if you want to jump the queue, then you can advertise and boost either your profile or your proposal, and that burns a ton more connects. Upwork doesn't break out exactly how much it makes on connects, but rough order of magnitude for a given job post that has 50 applicants. Let's assume that everybody who's applying to that job is paying 20 connects. That's 1,000 connects plus figure on average about 200 total boosted connects. On that particular job, Upwork is making $180, whether or not anyone ever gets hired. This is just roughly my best guess. It makes logical sense, though. The more popular the job, the more Upwork is going to make, whether a hire actually happens or not. It means that the application is the product. But here's the problem. As a client, you don't want 50 applications. You just want that one person. This is the premise upon which Upwork has built their AI, essentially facilitating that $180 endlessly. As a client, you have to go through all of those 50 jobs and eliminate all the ones that are just not a great fit. It's painful, it's slow, and honestly, most people are going to be using AI to apply to that job and make a proposal in the first instance. So Upwork said, hey, let's just facilitate that. They created Uma. Uma, as I understand, is essentially a ChatGPT wrapper that allows you now natively within Upwork to read your profile and write a proposal based on your job history and all the things that it knows about you and just send that straight off for a given job. Clients are also using Uma to write the job descriptions in the first instance. So you have a situation where it's AI versus AI and then a human in the middle that actually has to make a decision of who am I going to hire, spending hours to go through all of these 50 different proposals that it's AI versus an AI generated squared mess. One huge slop fest. That's all I can say. As funny as it is totally nonsensical because you end up creating friction between that client and their decision to actually hire anyone at all. I've gone through this process before where I had 140 something applications that I had to personally go through. 95% of them were total AI slop. It took me hours. Now I want to spend money to hire somebody, and it's actually taking me more time to go through the hiring process than it actually would have taken me to do the job in the first instance. Like, it's crazy. So to assist with the AI versus AI slop fest, Upwork has created the Uma Recruiter, a ranked shortlist, if you will. Basically, it goes through all of those 50 applications or however many and delivers a short list to the prospective client. I will say as a freelancer, I have gotten dozens of these Uma Recruiter invitations, and it is actually comical how bad the fit is from them. Upwork used to have a thing called the Talent Scout. For a given job, it would go reach out to freelancers and say, hey, you should apply to this job because it's probably a pretty good fit for you. Equally useless. It's like a replica of that. In my opinion, doesn't work even remotely. Fast or wrong is still wrong. If you disagree with me, please drop a comment below. The next Uma surface that we're going to talk about is the meeting room. This is basically where it goes from annoying into we got to pay attention to this a little bit more. So Upwork video meetings are ostensibly powered by Uma, meaning when you go into an Upwork video meeting, then you are getting recorded, transcripted, recapped, and highlight reeled all automatically in the background by Upwork's AI. This is on by default. So the host can turn it off, but it's on by default. Upwork does their best to try and push this product. I have been against it for so many years, specifically because Zoom has already solved for this, and I don't know why we're continuing to beat a dead horse. The next iteration of Uma is the automated interviews. In this way, Uma is basically acting as your interviewer, where you get pulled into a room and it's like a video application kind of thing where you have to physically be in front of your computer and click your way through this thing and give some answers to some very specific questions. And in the background, apparently, Uma then goes and synthesizes your responses, grades you, and then provides you on some form of shortlist to the client. I have never known for that to work. And the only thing that I can speak to on that front is that freelancers absolutely detest it. The biggest thing that really worried me is within Upwork's freelancer dashboard, I logged in, I checked my settings, and I saw that by default, my data was being used to train Upwork's model. I checked this with a number of other freelancers as well, and they said the exact same thing, that their check marks were on without them even knowing it. They immediately turned it off, just like me, because I don't want my data to be used to train Upwork's models. So you can turn it off at any time, go for it, up to you, but do know that that is a thing and it exists. Opting out isn't retroactive, so whatever's already been captured is already captured. Without your express consent, I'd never clicked a button that said, yeah, sure, I opt in for you to train your model on my data. And as far as I know, nobody did. So that's AI that's aimed at capture. There are other companies that are taking a different approach as far as AI, aiming it more at the client side. In goLance's case, they built Mango. The thrust of Mango: manage better, decide faster. As a client, I really like that because I can take a lot of the time that's spent in managing freelancers out of my day and just compress it down. That means that I can get more done and we can make more money. And then ultimately I can hire more freelancers faster, better, and easier. Like, why would I not want that? Who doesn't want that? So the capability list looks something like this: performance, productivity trends, team checks, and etc. Yeah, okay. But what does it actually do? How it matters to me is a little bit different. I really care about a couple of things on this list. Specifically, automatic bullcrap detection of any time that has been logged against jobs that are maybe not actually being performed, or it's just taking a lot longer than it really should. Because I'm not going to pay for people that are going to overbill. I also want to know who is not working and why are they not working. I want to know who is getting held up by somebody else on the team that just hasn't given them whatever it is that they need. I want to know who is engaging on the team versus the person that's like quietly working in the corner, maybe doing something all on their own. And most importantly, but what I'll say is probably my least favorite, is the category I would refer to as unusual activity, which I'll come back to in a little bit. So in goLance's case, look at who's in control of the AI. Freelancers have all of their own tools that they're working with. The client is the one who actually is going to get leverage out of this and want to spend more money on the platform because of it. When you make it simpler and easier for freelancers and clients to work together without tons and tons of back and forth, it means that more people are going to work. Now, here's where freelancers are going to get really freaked out because there is a third direction here. In Fiverr's case, they pointed the AI at the work itself. First, Shopify stores. They torched that entire category because they said, hey, we're going to allow this AI to build your entire Shopify store for free. Anyone who's setting up Shopify stores, forget it. You're probably out of a job because Fiverr is now offering that to their clients for free. People who are making those low quality logos, you're also probably out of a job. Fiverr basically turned those niches into click a button and be done. It's not something that wasn't already happening with the advent of ChatGPT and Midjourney, etc., but Fiverr put it on steroids by actively taking that marketplace out of commission. This isn't Fiverr replace freelancers, but it is Fiverr that's selling you the AI output or the human and letting the market pick. But the reality is, if a platform is going to hand a client either a button or a potentially high friction transaction that says, maybe your logo will be good, maybe it won't, then the logo maker niche just got torched. Simple as that. Most people don't know it yet, but Upwork is looking at doing the same thing too. Honorable mentions here: Toptal, Catalant, others. They're really behind the ball. As far as I know, Toptal and Catalant are so far behind the other platforms, it's scary. From my perspective, as a client, I want my people using AI. I want them to be the absolute best in the business. And pretty much that's what every client out there wants also. Total AI fluency. I don't want somebody stuck on old tools, trying to be prompt engineers and perfection. I want them to be at the absolute frontier of this stuff. Because using AI is not cheating. It is part of the job now. And the reset has already happened. Because every client assumes that the work includes AI unless you tell them it doesn't. the market has already repriced jobs. So if there's one thing that I would say to freelancers, you got to bill for the output, not for the hours that go into it. Quality over quantity. And what I want to see out of all the platforms out there, show me who is actually fluent in AI. Test for that. When I get that, that's the kind of person that I want to hire. I don't care who applied the fastest or who spent the most money on connects to try and apply to the job. I want the person who is going to be the best, who uses the best in class tools to get that job done. That's the platform that deserves to win. As far as I know, only one of these platforms is actually building that. The rest are just selling connects and replacing freelancers. And for me, it's personal. I really care because not having tools like this has already cost me over $23,000. You can find out the whole story of how I lost over 20 grand in this video right here.